Hey guys, Sprinter Doctor here. Welcome back to the channel. Do you have a broken glow plug in your OM642 engine? Well, if so, I'm going to walk you through how to get that broken glow plug drilled out, extracted, get the threads repaired, and get a new glow plug installed. But first, before we dive into today's repair, I want to give all glory to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. He's the reason I have the ability, the patience, and the opportunity to do these videos to help you all around the world. And so just want to give thanks to him and let you know that he has a plan and a purpose for your life. Shout out to Ryan McAllister, one of our Master Tech members of the Sprinter Doctor community. And this is his vehicle that we're doing these repairs on. So I want to thank you, Ryan, very much. All right, let's get started. Okay, this is the Mercedes special toolkit that we use at the shop, but also I put on the screen the Pitchler Direct toolkit number for doing these glow plug repairs. Just wanted you guys to see what all comes in the kit and what it looks like here at the shop. This has got everything that we use, everything we need to fix these broken glow plugs and get them drilled out. Here's the fault code that we have in this one. It's glow plug number 1. So yeah, glow plug on cylinder number 1 is broken off. So we just need to get that drilled out and replaced. First things first, we're going to get this engine air filter housing off. So I'm going to loosen this clamp. Take this hose off. Unplug the pressure sensor and the mass airflow sensor. Pop the filter housing up out of these plastic mount or rubber mounts. Get that air filter housing out of the way. Loosen the clamp on your clean air intake pipe there where it connects to the turbocharger. Just loosen that. Probably just need to work it to the side, back and forth, and pull it off there. Undo this connector here on the little heater for the PCV hose there, and just kind of grab that. I pull it to the side as I'm pulling out, and it just pops out pretty easy. Take your oil filler neck off, take your oil cap and put it back on the engine there to keep any dust and dirt out of there. Go ahead and pop this plastic cover off. Get your noise damper insulation off there. To do glow plug number 1, we're going to need to remove the fuel injector on number 1 cylinder and remove the fuel rail. So first things first, we're going to get this glow plug module moved out of the way, and this glow plug module bracket, remove that. Get that out of the way. Just stick that bracket over to the side. Taking the mounting bolt out of our water drain line for our fuel filter. Just gonna move that out of the way there. All right, I'm gonna remove the bolts holding down this fuel injector leak line holder. That's right in the way of our glow plug number 1. I've got a little cap that I put over the turbo to keep metal shavings and dirt out of the turbo. Get started taking this fuel rail off. Just popping that connector lock loose on that fuel pressure sensor on the back of the fuel rail there. Take my air gun. I'm going to blow dirt and dust out of the way. Okay, unlock all the locks on your fuel injector leak line at the injectors. Once you get those unlocked, those just pull straight up off the injector. This is a 17mm crow's foot. Just going to loosen my lines off the injectors. It's an 18mm wrench to take the line loose from the rail. Just going to loosen those line connections. Once you get them all loose, you can usually get them by hand pretty easy. This one's being a little bit stubborn on the injector. Get my crow's foot and undo it by hand. There we go. All right, just put your lines out of the way somewhere to the side. You can reuse those hard lines. No problems there. Let's take this line, this crossover line loose. Take my fuel rail mounting bolts out. Take this little bracket and set it to the side. All right. Disconnect your injector number 1 here. I'll take a bungee cord and put on my engine wiring harness just to hold it over to the side out of the way so I can get to my glow plug really easily. All right, here's our broken glow plug. This one has a piece of a bit, like a drill bit or something, stuck in between the electrode and the glow plug body. So that's going to make it a little bit tougher than normal. I'm going to take my injector hold down bolt out and pull my injector out. Get that out of the way. You're going to take these 2 bolts out of the valve cover because that's where our drill guide is going to bolt to right there. Okay. What you want to do is just tighten those down by hand where they're barely touching the drill guide, and then you just want to use this piece to help center up the drill guide to the glow plug hole. You just want to get that as centered up as possible to your glow plug. And then once you get it centered up real good, you're just going to tighten that down. All right. There we go. Got it centered up real nicely. Here's our step bit. We're going to start out with our step bit on this one because I'm going to try to get this, whatever this piece is, stuck in between the center electrode and the outer body of the glow plug. I need to get that out. So I'm going to use this step bit to start drilling on it. Use plenty of penetrating oil or cutting oil. You know, just make sure you keep that lubricated. Just go a little bit at a time when you're doing your drilling. You don't want to try to hurry up and overheat your drill bit and damage it. So just take your time, drill a little bit at a time, blow the shavings out with some compressed air. Okay, it's still in there, so I'm gonna have to drill a little bit more. When the center electrode is broken off at the top like that, it requires a centering sleeve to be hammered down in the glow plug there, but I can't hammer my centering sleeve in because of the broken bit that is in there from a previous repair attempt. So once I get that piece of whatever that is drilled out, then we can install our centering sleeve and get that center electrode drilled out. So finally got success. We got that piece of whatever that was drilled out of there. Now we can remove the drill guide and we're going to install a centering sleeve on the glow plug electrode. All right, here's what it looks like. We got that out of there, that piece. Now we can install our centering sleeve. Here's our centering sleeve. As you can see, it's got an arrow on it. The arrow points down. Just want to get that centering sleeve started right there, and then I'm going to go ahead and hammer that down in there with a punch. You just want to hammer that down in there until it's flush. Almost. A little bit more. Okay, now that we got that in, we're going to go ahead and reinstall our drill guide. Do it just like we did the first time. Just tighten those by hand until they're barely touching. Then you just want to get it centered up to the glow plug the best you can. And then tighten it down. Alright. Once you get it centered up good, just go ahead and tighten it down. There we go. Okay, now you're going to use your step bit to drill 2 to 3 millimeters down, and then you're going to use your special drill bit. In this case, you can also use the step bit to go the whole way, which I did, but usually you want to go ahead and use your step bit to go a couple of millimeters down, and then use your special drill, part 6041639, and drill that center electrode the rest of the way out. So here we go. Let's get this drilled out. Again, take your time, use plenty of lubrication. You don't want to try to, just bear down on it as hard as you can and drill and try to get it all out at one time. So just plenty of lubrication. Take your time. This part right here requires patience. See that line on the drill bit holder? That line, when it gets flush with the drill bit guide, is when you know you got deep enough. I'm just going to blow these last bit of shavings out of there. Just trying to keep the oil from getting on the camera. Go at it one last time. Make sure I got all of it out. All right. Just get all of our metal shavings, blow them out of there real good. And this is what it's going to look like once you get it drilled out real good. Next, we're going to use this part of the tool to cut threads into the glow plug. All right, so in this case on this van, the glow plug was not stuck in there hard enough to allow me to cut threads all the way down into the glow plug body. So once I started cutting threads in it, the glow plug started turning in the hole. So in that case, I went ahead and kept turning it and pulling by hand, and eventually the glow plug just came out of there by hand, luckily. That usually does not happen, so usually you will have to use this tool to cut threads down into the body of the glow plug, and you just want to make sure take your time and cut those threads down into the glow plug, and then once you get the threads cut all the way down in there, then we're going to use the puller. Like I said, in this case, I did not have to have the puller as I was able to get it out by hand once we got this far. In just a few moments, I'll demonstrate how the puller works once you get the threads cut into the glow plug. Okay, just showing the bit that we were just using to cut the threads. Once you get those threads cut in, this is the puller. So you're going to thread the puller down into the glow plug where you just cut threads into it. And when you screw that down into the glow plug, just like I'm showing you here, just screw that down into the glow plug, and then you're going to tighten that nut up down. And you got to counter hold that puller with a wrench at the top and turn the nut right there, and it will pull that glow plug out of the hole. And if you pull too tight, that will snap that puller off. So you can't overdo it. If it doesn't want to come out, you just want to loosen that nut off. Keep trying. All right, once you get the glow plug out, you're going to use that bit right there on the screen to drill it out, and then use this tool here to cut threads. So again, use plenty of lubrication when you start cutting these threads. Just go a little bit at a time. Once you get a little ways in, you're just going to start turning it backwards, and that'll cut those shavings off, and you just blow those out with compressed air, and then you can continue on until you get threads cut all the way down in, and you'll feel it bottom out. Once you feel it bottom out, you know you've got it, all the threads cut, and you can just we'll go to the next step. All right. Okay, we got all our threads cut. Now take your insert and put it on the installer tool and put some Loctite on your insert. Now we're going to install our insert. The instructions do not give a torque spec. It just says install. So I would just go about 10 foot-pounds. And take your installer tool out. We got the glow plug out and got the threads repaired. Next, we're going to take a wire bristle brush. We're going to clean this hole out real good. You just want to get all that carbon up out of that hole. That brush don't want to go down in there at first, but once you get some of it cleaned out, it'll get a little bit easier, and you just get it all cleaned out real good. Once you get it cleaned out real good, we can install our glow plug. All right. Clean that up with some brake cleaner. We just about got this cleaned out good right here. All right. Just gonna clean that with brake cleaner and compressed air. Now we're ready to install our glow plug. I always put a little bit of grease on my glow plug on the outer body of it. Your glow plug torques to 11 Newton meters. All right, there's 11 Newton meters. Now we're going to clean out our injector well. You just want to clean that out real well and make sure the injector has a good clean place to seal down at the bottom, especially where that copper seal seals. Very important. So let's get that cleaned out. Nice and clean. All right, we're going to get our injector cleaned up, especially on the end where the seal goes. Put a new copper seal. Put our special paste on there. Now that injector is ready to go back in. I'll put my valve cover bolts back in. Those bolts are about 8 Newton meters. Okay. Always use a new injector hold down bolt when you're reinstalling your injector. These are stretch bolts, and so you never want to reuse stretch bolts. Tighten that injector to 7 Newton meters, and then it gets a 180-degree turn. That's referred to as torque to yield bolts, otherwise known as stretch bolts. All right. Okay, let's reinstall our injector rail. Go ahead and get plugged back up there. I always like to put all my injector lines on by hand and just kind of get them started by hand. Plugging my glow plug back up there. Just getting everything laid back in place. Get my injector plugged back up. this little metal bracket right here, you got to lay it down in there before you put all your lines on, because you can't get it in there with all the lines on there. You can't get it in there. Get my injector rail, my fuel rail bolts started by hand now. Not going to tighten them up yet though. Okay, all of our injector lines torques to 20 Newton meters and then a 60-degree turn. You can use a crow's foot on your torque wrench to do these line connections. Now we're going to do a 60-degree turn on each one of them. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. All right, let's put our injector leak line, reconnect it. Make sure you lock it. Now we can tighten our rail down. Tighten the bolts on our leak line holder. Reinstall our glow plug mounting bracket. I always use a short bolt on this end because it can, if you use a long bolt, it'll hit your leak line. Reinstall our glow plug module. All right, let's reinstall our noise damper. I'm just making sure everything is laid in there correctly and routed properly and looking good. Let's put our plastic cover back on. Reinstall the clean air pipe. Tighten your clamp up. Put my oil filler neck back on. Reinstall the bolt. Reinstall the air filter housing. Don't forget your jump point. Plug our air mass sensor and our pressure sensor back up. Reinstall the hose. Tighten up the clamp. Remember, guys, everything breaks but God. Amen. Thanks for watching, guys.